Honourable Annette King.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman. I came down to the House to listen to the debate because it is an issue that Labor intends to fight strongly on. We are believers in an accident compensation system that has served New Zealanders so well for so long. And I listened to Mr Peachey's speech. It was a 3-minute attack on Labor's record in government, and he stressed the need to have an affordable and sustainable system. And I need to say to Mr Peachey, what this bill is doing to New Zealanders, and as a constituency MP, Mr Peachey will know this, it's undermining the confidence that New Zealanders have in a scheme that is they are paying for, that is their scheme to cover them when there is an accident. And I am picking up, as others are, in their constituency offices, people returning back to us asking about why they are being denied cover under a scheme they thought they were going to be covered by. So the points that Mr Peachey made about being affordable and sustainable, I agree with, and so do New Zealanders, and they were. And what we got from the national government and are getting from them is nothing more than a propaganda campaign to undermine accident compensation for their own political purposes. And I'd ask people to read a story today in the newspaper about a 15-year-old girl who has injured her hip playing sport. And the mother has gone vocal because she said, this is a scheme, an accident compensation scheme I thought was going to cover my child in the event of an accident. She was turned down for cover. Why was she turned down? Because the medical assessor for ACC said she had an unusual shaped hip. Before she had that accident, Mr Chairman, she was playing sport. She was an active child. She was like any ordinary kid at 15, lively, running, enjoying life. She is now in such agony and pain, she can do nothing. She can hardly walk. She is on painkillers. And that is a very good example of it not being a fair system. Because why would that child be turned down because an assessor said she had an unusual shaped hip? And I would say to Mr Peachey, when you make speeches about it being affordable and sustainable and all the fancy words the National Party are using, what about thinking about New Zealanders and the people who need to have access to accident compensation? Accident compensation and rehabilitation. This isn't an insurance scheme, as the National Party have tried to paint it. It's a scheme to help New Zealanders in the event of an accident. They've had an accident and they need help, Mr Chairman. I was staggered at John Boscawen's comments, and I think he really actually has labelled what this government is doing, and I think it should be said by every member of the opposition. He said what's happening is we're paying more and getting less. Well, that's exactly what this bill... Thank you, Mr Boscawen. New Zealanders will be paying more and getting less. But I've got a question for him. Why is he voting for the bill? Why is he voting for a bill where you're going to pay more and get less? That seems a bit crazy to me, and we've had no answer on that. I think one of the big issues in these transition clauses is around the issue of New Zealanders who are going to lose access to hearing aids because of hearing loss. And I've already had people come to me around this issue. They have come to me because they have a workplace injury. They have lost their hearing at work. They've gone to work year after year. They've worked in a noisy environment, and that environment, in a time when they didn't take a lot of care about health and safety, a lot of those changes came in under a Labor government, much of it called PC bossy government, but we believe in workplace safety. So we have got New Zealanders who've gone to work year after year in a noisy environment, and now they have hearing loss. And the reason why the government is changing it, not because they don't want people to have hearing aids, but because they think too many of them are getting them, and it's costing too much money. And so they're saying because the cost has gone up, of course, hearing aids costs have gone up in themselves, but because they've gone up, Mr Chairman, because the cost has gone up, they are saying we're now going to put a threshold on when people can get a hearing aid. Now, we were told, and the National Party members have been told, that there is many New Zealanders who, if they have to meet this threshold, will still not be able to hear daily things around them. And a very good example was not being able to hear children speaking because of the pitch of their voice. And we were told that they're going to miss out on parts of their life that they should be able to enjoy with help from ACC. They didn't choose to lose their hearing. They didn't deliberately go out and put on earphones and listen to heavy metal. They actually went to work amongst heavy metal and heard the noise and the thumps of their workplace, and they lost their hearing. I think this is so shameful, Mr Chairman, that we would treat our workers in such a way. I also like to endorse the comments made by Ruth Dyson around Clause 54 and the whole area of vocational assessment. I mean, I actually have to say I had not heard the story of the one-legged tap dancer. Somebody assessed at being able to tap dance following an injury. They had a job that they could do. They then assessed to be able to be a tap dancer, only they found they only had one leg. It's quite difficult, I'd imagine, to tap dance on one leg. Only thing I could say about that is they were lucky they didn't have both legs missing. Because who knows, they might have been able to be assessed then as being able to do something else. But this is the stupidness of this whole change. Why would you not take into account the pre-earning capacity of a person and their capability to do a job? It's demeaning to New Zealanders who may well have gone to university, who've got qualifications, who've been top earners, and they have supported their families, to be told, well, actually, now we've assessed you, and we've assessed you to be able to do this job that doesn't relate to anything they have spent their life doing, qualified for, many of them paid to be qualified in. This is just another method of reducing access to New Zealanders to excellent compensation. I know that there are going to be many, many other examples, Mr Speaker, and this is a sad day. I hope New Zealanders are listening to this debate, because they are seeing the gradual destruction by the tyranny of the majority in this House to a scheme that has served New Zealanders well. And in government, we weren't looking for them to pay more and get less. We were looking for a system that worked, that provided cover to many, many people, including those families of people who had committed suicide. And I think that this government has taken an axe to the scheme for no other purpose than for their own political philosophy and ideology. And we knew it was coming. Unfortunately, we warned New Zealanders it would happen. We said they will make drastic changes to ACC. They will set out to undermine it. They will set out to privatise it, which is exactly what they are doing in conjunction with ACT. And we are going to see, at the end of the day, New Zealanders demanding that they be able to sue. Demanding to be able to sue, and you'd have to say, do you blame them? The mother of that 15-year-old I told you about will be saying, why shouldn't I sue if that's the case? What about the ACC doctor who said my child had an odd-shaped hip so shouldn't be able to get cover? And I'd say, you have to wonder why an ACC doctor would do that, other than being paid by ACC. That is an extremely, extremely serious issue. And I have too many cases come to me where people say they have grave doubts about the assessments that are done on them and the fairness of those assessments. So I'll just conclude by saying that Mr Peachy wanted a sustainable and affordable system. What they are doing is making New Zealanders pay more and get less. That is what this scheme is doing.
Mr. Chair.